Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks on TVC. In the past few weeks, the subject on the lips of many has been the Kogi and Bayelsa elections, and justifiably so because the elections came with an abundance of surprises and malpractices. But there is also mild drama brewing on the sidelines of the polity, one just as germane to the survival of the two main political parties, wrestling for the soul of the nation. Today, my guest is a former Labour leader turned politician, and I intend to have a productive conversation with him on why the actors have refused to draw the curtain on this drama. Welcome once again. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fireworks. Today my guest is Honorable Peter Akpatason, the Deputy Majority Leader of the House of Representatives. Welcome to Fireworks.
A pleasure.
Yes, we'll start from the very beginning. Edo State, which is your state, you are representing, by the way, Akoko Edo
Federal constituency.
Yeah. So the crisis within the APC, you have declared your support for the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, in this continuing feud between him and his former godson and partner, Godwin Obaseki. But how concerned are you about how this feud is tearing the Edo APC apart?
Well, I'm seriously concerned, like many Nigerians, particularly those who believe in, APC and what the president and the leadership of APC is currently doing in the country. Yeah, we're very concerned about it. And that is the reason why at some point we had to break our silence, to make a clear statement on the issue, to show that we are not happy about what is going on, and we don't believe that the situation should remain as it is, and something must be done about it.
So in your bid to resolving this conflict, is it okay to take sides with one party to the conflict?
We identify with issues, we identify with the truth of the case, and so we had to speak out. It does not amount to taking side with one person against the other. If what is going on is not right and we believe there are certain things that people are doing is wrong, we have to speak about it. And again, talking about identifying with sides on this issue, for people like us, it's very obvious to everybody, our political history and where we belong. Both myself, Philip Shaibu, and the governor all belong to the same Oshamale leadership group. If there are issues in that group and we believe that what some of us are doing to him is not right and shouldn't continue, and I think it's right for us to speak about that. And that's exactly what we did, to say we have confidence in this man. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. And that is the truth of the matter. A lot of Nigerians have implicit confidence in Adams Oshamale.
You said you belong to the same leadership group, which is Oshamale.
Oshamale, yes.
You hail
that is APC. Yes, exactly. All of us.
Oshamale's tutelage.
Yes, of course.
So
I don't have reason.
Why should you have
for
confidence?
Now, I don't have reason not to have confidence in him.
Whilst you all belong to him, you also had confidence in Obaseki. Am I correct?
I have reason to say I had confidence. I had confidence in the leadership. That's our leader. And also I worked with everybody, including the governor, the deputy, and other members of the leadership too.
That suggests that you had confidence in each other. That's why you were able to work together. So inevitably in the course of working together, things could turn awry. So why in the course of events would you no longer have confidence in one person, but your confidence in the other remains?
I have confidence, and very strong confidence, in the leadership of the man that we all call our leader. And I will say this anytime, any day. If you want me to talk about other people, ask me specific questions about them, then I will tell you how I feel about them. That's it. But I am not comfortable with the idea of people throwing muds at the principle that we all have, the man that have brought us to the level that we are in politics.
Speaking of some of the things that may have warranted the mudslinging, at the APC headquarters in Abuja recently, where the National Executive Committee meeting held, there were protesters who were calling for the sack of your national leader. One of the leaders of the protesters, One Iyoha Tony Osabovo, said, and I quote, "Our constitution is very clear. The National Working Committee has no disciplinary power, but under Oshomole, the NWC is usurping the power of the NEC. There is nowhere in the constitution that says NWC has disciplinary power. But how come under Oshomole, the issues are now different?"
Well, I don't know what the differences are according to Saigbofo, but what I know is that the way organizations function, the NWC is the engine room of the party. They come up with, suggestions. They come up with ideas. They come up with, positions, which will be canvassed at the caucus level and presented to the National Executive Council for ratification or otherwise. And that's exactly what has happened in the party. Every bit of thing that happened started with the NWC and was endorsed by the NEC. Some people don't understand the running and the workings of organizations. I'm sure it is from that background that he is coming from.
So what are some of the issues, engendering the disagreement between estranged godfather and godson?
I don't have the details, but what I know concerns me and a lot of Edo people and Nigerian is that while the crisis was still brewing at that level, something happened to the legislative arm of government in Edo State, which we consider to be unconstitutional and unacceptable. And that is the point we still are trying to emphasize. And that was the reason why we had to take, the steps that we took. But what happened in Edo State House of Assembly is a complete departure from that. It is a thing that I cannot associate with, and I'm sure that many people cannot associate with. People keep talking about individuals. We are talking about the people who are being deprived of representation, including people who won the election and are being deprived of representing their people, and are also being intimidated and harassed. They were beaten up in a hotel mercilessly. I would say this is not right. Let's come together and get things right, and people are not ready to talk. This is unacceptable.
But Honorable, you know that there is no action, there is no reaction without an action, a prior action.
Tell me the action that necessitated that, please.
Well, Governor Obaseki, while addressing a delegation a few months ago, he said, I'm not quoting him copiously now, but the genesis of this matter between former political godfather and godson is when he began to make moves to end illegal collection of levies in Edo State. And you are all too aware, even more than lay Nigerians, that all too soon godfathers and godsons fall out in the political scheme of things in the course of time. What do you say to that?
But please, did you listen to Comrade Adams Oshomole's own version? I doubt.
So
if you did, you won't ask this question.
So you know Comrade Adams Oshomole's version, but you don't know Comrade Governor Obaseki's version.
You are becoming biased. You are becoming biased now, because I've not said I don't know. I know both versions.
Okay, tell us.
You just mentioned one.
Okay, tell
us.
And
I asked you,
tell us Chairman Oshomole's version.
Of godfatherism, as far as I'm concerned, is completely non-existent in Edo State. It's non-existent. Talking about collection of revenue and whatever, I am not too concerned about that one, because I know that it is not an issue in this matter.
Are you sure godfatherism is non-existent in Edo State?
Nobody has stopped anybody from collecting anything. I tell you something. I appreciate the strategy that was introduced by Obaseki to collect revenues. They use a more scientific method, but let me tell you, a lot of people cannot be, comfortable with that. But definitely, that is not the national chairman. That's not the national chairman. So I don't know how it becomes an issue in this matter, as far as I'm concerned.
There's still a missing.
I told you at the beginning that I don't have the details of what is responsible for the differences we're talking about here. I think only two of them will have the full details.
But you later
what
said
happens in public,
that have I listened to the version of Chairman Oshomole on the tax collection issue.
If you tell me about one person's version, I want to know whether you are aware of the other person's version so that you can balance them, on your own, right? But with respect to
that response presupposes that you know the version of the chairman.
If that is what you want to believe, well and good. I know.
Are you sure that godfatherism does not exist in Edo State?
I have not seen it. I'm not feeling it.
If it does not exist, why the confusion over inauguration in the Edo State House of Assembly? Why do you have members loyal to Chairman Oshomole, some members loyal to
Let me tell you, I relate with all of these people you're talking about. If you know the genesis of it, you will not, classify them as members loyal to one leader and members not loyal to the other. I don't think that is the situation.
But if that is not the situation, would have a stable Edo State House of Assembly.
What happened, if you care to listen, is that prior to the inauguration, the members had several meetings at state level without involving anything from, national chairman. The meetings that is normal, there's something wrong with that. The meeting that they had, they attempted to come up with a consensus position. And the state government had a position and preferred candidates for the leadership. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But there was a disagreement among them. As at that point, I'm not sure that anybody outside the state government and the members-elect were involved in that. But unfortunately, there was a disagreement. There was a disagreement in 2015 when APC leadership at federal level identified with some candidates for the position of speaker, deputy, and so on. But some members said no to that. And they went ahead. Even when the national chairman, Odige Oyegun, came to ICC to address us, he categorically told a group to step down and support the other. They disagreed. They said no. And they went ahead to go for election and they defeated us. They defeated our candidate, the party's candidate. Heavens did not fall.
Many have condemned the national chairman for now being the symbol of what he had condemned in the past, which is godfatherism. And I want to take you back to what he said when he was governor. He was addressing Edolites, that's what you call Edo indigenous citizens. Gabriel Igbinedion, that he should take it easy. He has undermined the prosperity of this state for a long time. He has acquired a lot of the government land, and people have not engaged him on this. He walks as if he's above the law. He was a strict tax collector in this state, pocketing 25 to 30% of every kobo that accrued while his son was the governor. I have not looked back because I have managed to look forward. I want to put him on notice. If he continues with elderly rascality, I will take him to court. Those were the words of your leader. And now he happens to be in a position where the imposition of his own will is being rejected. Does this strike a chord or ring a bell about how seemingly history repeats itself?
What is the position of his will that is being rejected?
Perhaps the members that are loyal to him in the Edo State House of Assembly who have been deprived of their representation. Maybe we should start with that. If we're not particularly sure of the other issues between godfather and godson.
I tried to explain here that this issue was not Oshomole versus anybody. It was a failure of a process to produce the desired result, the result desired by the state that led to what is happening. Now you have just tried to paint a picture of Adams being responsible for the disagreement, but you didn't answer what happened at federal level when Dogara's group disagreed with John Oyegu. Who was behind them? Was it Shomole? It was lawmakers. It was lawmakers. Excuse me. Legislature is legislature, whether at federal level or state level. Lawmakers disagreed. We didn't say it was anybody that was responsible for Saraki and Dugara's disagreement with the party. And we worked with them for 4 years. For Christ's sake, what ought to happen in Edo didn't happen. The consultations failed. You understand me? And they went their ways. Instead of allowing them to come together, probably engage them further, rather than compelling anybody, the reverse happened. And then a few persons were inaugurated.
You know, these issues.
If you are not concerned about it, I am concerned about it.
These issues go beyond.
I'm concerned about
representation at the Edo State House of Assembly.
I'm concerned.
What about?
I'm concerned that the
desire of state chairman for his own candidate to be governor in the next 4 years in Edo State.
Who?
Your state chairman.
Who is the state chairman?
Sorry, your national chairman.
I'm disappointed, I must tell you. I'm disappointed that you can be making such unsubstantiated allegation against the national chairman.
So it is untrue.
Where did you get that from?
Is it untrue that the candidate of the PDP who lost out at the election is now being lobbied to be the candidate of the APC in the next election?
Where are you getting this information from? Who told you? And why are you blaming somebody for that?
You can deny it, Honorable. You can deny it.
No, I don't deny. I don't have to deny such things for anybody. The candidate you are talking about, a great man from Edo State, has a right to go to whichever party he wants to belong to. He was the owner of the structure of, a grace group that gave birth to ACN, which eventually delivered APC. And for whatever reason, he left and went to PDP. He contested and almost disgraced us, but we were lucky, with the combined effort of Adam Shomale and other party leaders and their followers. We were able to win that election. And now the man, if he chooses to leave, so why will you blame anybody for that? When he left in 2006, who did you blame for that? When things happen that are not in favor of Adam Shomale, you blame him. You understand that you blame nobody. When it is a thing that you perceive to have favored his own group, then you blame him for that. Is that fair? Is that how we should be operating? For Christ's sake, Pastor Yamu is a great Nigerian. He has moved from party to party. People were not blamed then, and so it will be inconceivable that anybody would think that Adams is to blame for his movement. But in any case, he has a right to come in, and we welcome him. So
you don't feel
he
conflicted.
Was among the people.
You don't
he was
feel
among the people that drafted the constitution of APC at federal level.
Honorable.
When the merger came up, so he has a right to come back home.
So, Honorable, you don't feel conflicted that he's being wooed now to represent the All Progressives Congress?
Who is wooing him? Can you please tell Nigerians? Who is
but you have
him?
Accepted that he's welcome if he chooses to return.
To be very honest, anytime, any day, if Pastor Yamu agrees to come to APC, I will celebrate it.
So to wrap up this session, you're saying categorically that in this continuing crisis in Edo State, and by extension, APC, in recent times, Adams Oshomole should be absolved of all shades of blame.
I'm not a judge. They have not presented cases to me, and I can't make that omnibus, decision. I've spoken about specific issues that I'm concerned about, not because of individuals, actually, because of how it affects my state and our people, the people that we represent. That is where I stand. If he is found guilty, please apportion blames to him. But don't do that because some people want you to do so. Don't do that because people have control over social media and been able to redirect the narratives to suit their own purposes. First, let us be careful enough to investigate and then get to the root of issues so we can make informed decisions and opinions on this matter. Before then, any hasty decision will be completely, out of place.
Absolutely, and we hope that the party in deciding, the resolution of these issues will, be fair and cautious. You're watching Fireworks. My guest today is Honorable Peter Akpatason, the Deputy Majority Leader. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll look at other issues, still on politics, but this time at the House of Representatives. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fireworks. Today my guest is Honorable Peter Akpatason, the Deputy Majority Leader of the House of Representatives. In the last half hour, in case you missed, I have been struggling for information on what exactly may have been, the cause of the disaffection between National Chairman Adams Oshiomhole and estranged political godson, Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. We're moving on now with the conversation to look at politics of the House of Representatives. Specifically, thank you for holding on, Honorable Akpatason, specifically at the crisis within the minority of the House of Representatives, particularly the PDP, over who should be the minority leader. This has continued for nearly 6 months. Why has the leadership crisis festered?
To start with, I would like to say that it is not appropriate to call it crisis at this level. There was a disagreement of some sort, and efforts have been made to make sure that issues were, properly sorted out. For instance, you are aware that on the day of inauguration, somebody attempted to move the maize. That's a very serious offense, very, very serious offense. That under normal, circumstance, such person will be suspended for a minimum of, 180 days. A committee was set up to look at that issue, and the committee made recommendation. And guess what? Yours truly chaired that committee, and we made recommendation to the Speaker to apply the appropriate rules of the House. But in his magnanimity and in our desire to provide inclusive leadership and build consensus, the entire thing was waived, and he was pardoned so that we can work together. And I'm sure that the man is happy today, and his caucus too are happy about the Speaker's magnanimity and his inclusive approach to leadership. However, notwithstanding that, I'm not surprised that people are still have not been able to overcome the shock. But the only thing that I worry about a bit is that these are people who were also on the other side day one and punished people who attempted to challenge them. We understand that some of them have constituted themselves to PDP caucus group and do not seem to recognize the minority leadership group. If you choose to recognize parts of a leadership and you don't recognize the other, it's as good as not recognizing the entire leadership. And so that calls for action. The first thing that happened was pardoned. And if subsequent moves of that kind continues to happen, you begin to wonder what the motivation is. Where is this coming from? Is it because there was a pardon in the first case and people now feel that this is a toothless, a leadership that cannot bite, and so let's continue to take them for granted and all that? So when situation like this, arises, you expect that people should be decisive and provide leadership, decisively.
Why can't the House leadership find a middle ground? I mean, it is the consensus of your party that Speaker Gbajabiamila is Speaker, i.e. the other majority leadership positions.
Including myself.
But the Speaker, in his own wisdom, refused to acknowledge the choice of the PDP for leadership positions. Fine, granted, that's 6 months ago and the party should move on. But why can't the leadership of the House find a middle ground in order to assuage the grievances of these people who have constituted themselves to be the PDP caucus?
To start with, Speaker Gbajabiamila did not reject the list of PDP. What happened in APC is the same thing that happened in PDP. We are determined to cooperate with every arm of government and the parties But in doing this, the sanctity of the legislative arm, the independence of the legislature cannot be taken for granted. One of the things that we do is to make sure that whoever is going to be leader is not just dictated by the party, but also accepted by the people. People wrote their names and endorsed me. The same thing happened to my big brother, Adodogoa, the leader, and every other person. In PDP, they had to list. And a vast majority of them supported one group. PDP should have been able to settle their people, to make sure that only one list emerged. There were 2 lists in APC. For your information, hold on. There were 2 lists in APC. You understand me? One had less than 30 people, and we had the big list. However, party leaders called the 2 leaders, the leaders of both groups, together and say, no, you can't do this. Both of you are from the same state. Who wants to be leaders of this group? And then there's no point for us to start dividing ourselves at the beginning. So please, gentlemen, support this other man who has majority, and then you will be carried along. And that was exactly what happened, and we now narrowed down our differences to a single list, endorsed by everybody. PDP failed to do that.
Honorable Peter Akpatason, we could stretch the argument a lot further, but we must wrap up the program now. Thank you very much for your time and thoughts on the program, and I hope we're friends now.
Yes, of course, we have always been friends.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and thoughts on the program.
Great.
That's our offering on the program today. We thank you profusely for being on the show. Of course, you can watch a repeat broadcast of the program on the times showing on your screen. We have a benefit of 3 after the 1st. And of course, you can also watch on YouTube. I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo, asking you to join us again, same time next week when we bring you another interesting edition of the program. Bye for now.